Good morning, everyone. Today we have Dvij Nandwani with us. Dvij Nandwani is a motivational speaker who aspires to inspire millions and make them believe in themselves. He firmly believes that every individual has a special quality and his goal is to help people to reach their full potential. Dvij is an entrepreneur and a master trainer certified by National Institute of Entrepreneurship and Small Business Development, Government of India. He masters in both corporate as well as public domain. He is an exceptional orator, trainer, and a skilled business designer. He is extremely passionate about motivational speaking and counseling. He is a dynamic speaker with a pleasant personality and a diamond heart determination. He is logical thinker and a delegate worker. He concentrates on three important factors: emotion, motivation, and self-discipline. And last but not the least, he is the owner of founder of hashtag Note Kiya Jaye. So very welcome to you, sir. You can proceed, sir.
Thank you so much, Rajiv sir. And
Thank you.
I'm very honored to do another webinar yet again with Parul University. I'm very glad to present this. And to be honest, the title itself of today's seminar is Finding Yourself. So I hope that everybody listening to this and everybody viewing it at this point in time can take away something from this session. And I hope that some activities that we are about to do, you can respond to it in the chat box, you can respond to it uh, in the comments wherever you are viewing it at this point in time. Right. So to begin with, these there are some things in life that we do not take seriously, right? Some things that we overlook, and they play a very important yet a very major part in constructing our personal and professional lives. So to begin with, I would like to know a couple of things from the students end. Like, you can just spam the comments and your responses in the chat box. I want you to identify who you identify yourself as. When you identify yourself and when you are able to recognize yourself as somebody who is willing to grow, who is willing to progress in life, that's when you make a change. When the pain of being the same is greater than the pain of growth, that's when you grow, when you don't want to be the same anymore. To be honest, there are some things like these that we never take account of and we never pay attention to. So let's do a small exercise together at this point in time. So, how much time do we have in a day? It's 24 hours, right? 24 hours given to everybody equally. Not one person in this world can say, I have more than 24 hours in a day or less than 24 hours in a day. So, how do we use it? Let's make a checklist, right? So, let's say we all sleep 8 hours a day, right? After which we spend 7 to 8 hours in work. That's 16 hours already. After which we spend time commuting from one place to another. We spend time eating. We spend time talking to people. That takes away a roundabout of another 8 hours from your life. Can you imagine that? 8 hours more. That's 24 hours complete. How much time are you spending on yourself? How much time are you giving yourself? So there are some tricks and tips that you can use to actually enhance your life in a for better ways or in for better results in your life. A lot of people listening to this right now are students, right? So let's just say you save up some time on sleeping, eating, and spending on social media, right? Let's just say you shave some time off that. Instead of sleeping for 8 to 12 hours, which a lot of us, since we are all tired, we all do. Now, let's just say we reduce that to 6 hours. Scientifically speaking, a normal human being, to the least, needs 5 to 6 hours of sleep. Anything above that is just oversleeping. So on average, you just need 6 hours of sleep. So you're saving up 2 hours a day. Let's just say 1 hour to eat. And 90% of times when I come across people, they are usually sitting in front of a screen and eating. That means they spend more time looking at the screen than actually focusing on what they're doing at that point in time, which is eating. So let's just say you break it down and push it to 30 minutes. Let's just say if you do not be distracted while you're eating, you'll take 30 minutes at best to eat your food. Let's just say that's another 1.5, 2 hours added to the list. So 6 plus 2 is 8. Let's just push it a little more. You take an hour or two to shower. A lot of people spend a lot of time showering and dressing up. My question is, how many people do actually think that time is effectively used? Not a lot of people would say that. If you say that you need 2 hours to shower, perhaps you have been doing it wrong. So now, let's just say you save time on that as well. At best, a normal person would take at least 30 minutes to get ready, to the max. And let's just say, at best, you shower 4 times a day. That's another 2 hours. 6 plus 2 is 8, and 8 plus 2 is 10. So that's 10 hours that you're using for routine tasks. And adding 7 hours of work is 17 hours. If you have been keeping track of it at this point in time, if you check it out, at the end of it, if you take away the time of commuting and you doing work, you're still left with at least 2 to 4 hours of investing upon yourself. How many of us actually read books? How many of us do actually spend time on personality development or personal development? There's not a lot of us who spend time on these important things that actually bring in change in our lives. We do not train our mindsets, we do not work on ourselves, and we expect the world to change around us. We need to start working from within. We need to start working on ourselves. And that 4 hours that you saved up, let's just say you put in at least 1 hour of that into personal growth and personality development or personal development, you will see major changes in your life. Something that I personally, when I started working, that I did, I was sleeping 5 hours a day. I was working the rest of the day. And all I changed in my life was spend 1 hour doing what I like. It can be anything. You can go out on a drive, get a coffee, read a book, talk to somebody that you haven't talked to in a while. That gives you a small amount of recreational activity throughout the day. It gives you a chance to understand yourself better. The problem with a lot of millennials is the fact that we fear spending time alone. We fear that we cannot be alone all the time. We fear being left out. And that is what needs to change. And the first step to that is finding yourself. You need to yourself. You need to understand what you like, what you don't. A research done by California University in 2010 said that 80% millennials, when asked what are their likes and dislikes, replied, "We don't know." Or, "This is what my friend likes, so maybe that's what I like too." Can you imagine? 80% people do not know what they like. 80% people do not have an idea what their skill set is. A lot of people who do not spend time on finding themselves. Imagine taking the same people and giving them 1 hour to work upon themselves every day. It's almost like going to the gym. We all know that if you start working out today, you will see some changes, minor changes in your body in 2 weeks. That is for you to notice. It will take 3 to 4 weeks for your friends and family to notice. And it will take at least 8 weeks for everybody else to. Same thing, same sort of workout regime works for your brain, because brain is a muscle. Any muscle that you do not use, you lose it. Same thing applies to the human brain. If you do not spend time on working out your brain, you do not spend time on working out on yourself, you will not see any changes. Physical workouts, we might hate, right? A lot of people hate going out to the gym. A lot of people hate going out early in the morning for a walk or even a jog. But a brain workout does not ask you to do that. It just asks you to be aware. It asks you to be yourself. All you have to do is work on your current skill sets. Now, coming to another research done by a university, the top 10% successful people in the world were asked a certain set of questions. Now, if you're listening to this, you better be listening carefully, because this is something that you would have never thought. And when I found out about it, my life changed for good. The top 10% people were asked that if we invest 100 hours of personal development on you, and we give you a choice of working on the skills that you are bad at, you are average at, or you are good at, how would you divide those 100 hours, those 100 specific hours, into these three categories, and what would be your investment, right? If I were to ask the same question to you, what would you guys do? What would a normal person do? Let's just say the most common replies I get, we would spend a lot of time on the things we are bad at. We would spend a lot of time on like a small amount of time on things we are okay at. We won't spend any time on things we are good at, because we are already good at it, right? That's what a normal person would say. But turns out that's where we are making a very crucial mistake. That's where the problem lies. Because the top 10% successful people, their answers were like this: 10, 10, 80, 5, 5, 90. And that was 5 hours on things they were bad at, 5 hours on things they were average at, and 90 hours on things they were good at. And to be honest, that blows my mind till day. For the simple reason that people who spend time on things they are good at, people who work on things they are good at, people who actually try and develop their craft, are the ones who actually become successful. For the simple reason that if you are bad at something, if you are utterly bad at something, if you work upon it the most, you might become average with it. If you're average with something, if you work upon that the most, you become good with it. But if you invest your time, energy, and efforts into the thing you were the best at or you're good at, you become world class at it. Let's take a simple example. If Sachin Tendulkar spent all his training time on learning how to bowl, we wouldn't have gotten a Sachin Tendulkar. We wouldn't have a cricket legend. Can you imagine that? If you spend your time on things that you're good at, you become world class. You become somebody who is recognized for the thing you do. And that is what we need. Because the biggest error that we all make is because that society has taught us to do work on things that we are bad at. Let's recall something. If when you were in school, you were bad at maths, science, or any other subject that you did not like, and every time you went to a PTM, The teacher would say, the child needs to work on this, the child needs to work on that. They would never compliment you on the things you were good at. For example, when I was a kid, I especially was bad with maths. To be honest, I was the worst at maths. So when it comes down to maths, all my teachers always said that this kid needs to pay more attention to maths and do not work on English because he's already good at it, right? And that belief was carried forward into the personal and professional life. That lesson was carried on to personal and professional life. Can you imagine that? A person believes that he needs to work on the loopholes that he has, on the problems he has, except instead of working on the things they are good at. Let's just say if you're a good orator, if you are a good writer, if you are a skilled athlete, why not work on it just because the world demands it to? Just because the world demands you to work on something you're bad at, should you be denying yourself the chance to become world class with something? Should you be denying yourself the chance to become somebody who is recognized for his craft? And these are some small things that bring huge changes. When I started off, there was a lot of things people said I couldn't do. There's a lot of things people said I won't be able to do. But instead of listening to those voices, you should be listening to yourself and recognizing that you have an opportunity to work on your craft and become somebody you were meant to be. If you think that filling up a ditch would work, filling up the loopholes would work, good for you. I'm nobody to push my beliefs onto you, but give it a chance. Find yourself, be who you were meant to be. Sometimes when we talk like this, they seem like empty words. But the people who have actually become a huge success in life are the same people who worked on the things they were good at. What is important, progress or perfection? The people listening to this, just spam your comments, spam everything. What do you think is more important, perfection or progress? Being perfect at what you do or being progressive wherever you are? The people who are listening to this, I'll tell you about a simple small company. I hope you have heard of this company named Amazon. Yeah, just another small company that you know of. Do you think that Amazon, Jeff Bezos, that man has any limitations on finding out information? Does he have any limitations on investing money on his projects? Does he have any limitations on manpower? Does not seem so, right? They have a network spread worldwide. They have a lot of place to develop. But Jeff Bezos and the company Amazon, they have a simple policy. If they come up with a new strategy, they would simply take time and find out the most prominent issues that will pop up, the most prominent things they can do to achieve this strategy that they are planning to achieve, to make it successful. They would put in 60% of their time into it. With 60% results, they would execute each and everything. Just 60% through the process, and they would take the chance over the 40% risk and still execute the strategy. Why? Do they need to? Can't they actually find the information? They can. But the simple philosophy is you need to look forward. You need to look at the path of progress and make progress forth. Because perfection is a trap. The person who says, I want to do things perfectly, I want to do this perfect, I want this 100% complete. Guess what? That is the person you should be away from. That is the person you should stay away from the most. Why? Because the person who says that I want to be perfect at this is the person who is lying to himself. When you say that I want to be perfect at something, that is the biggest lie that you can tell yourself. Simply because the state of perfection does not exist. The definition of perfect is nothing but something that is 100% complete. And look around you. The people watching this, just look around you. Tell me what is perfect. Tell me one thing that does not have flaws. Everything does. If nothing is perfect, why are we so adamant? Why are we so stuck on the idea of achieving perfection? Simply because perfection does not exist. So you don't need to. You need to find a path of progress. You need to find a way to keep honing your craft. Ask any successful person in their life. They would say that which is the best venture that they have ever accomplished. They would always say the next one. Another story from one of my archives. You must have heard this story before, maybe not, but a multi billionaire owned a company and his employees would leave at 8. An interviewer came to interview him. The offices, he had a meeting, so the offices started getting empty by 7:30, 8 o'clock. 8:15, the media crew went back in, taking permission for looking at the company a little better. When they went in, they heard the clicking of the keyboard. Somebody was typing. Nobody knows who was. So they decided to check that. They went, looked inside the small cubicle at the furthest corner of the office. When they went in, they found out it was the owner working there. He was working way past closing time. When they asked him, why do you need to work? You already own a company. The simple reply he had was, rich people like you are the ones who do not have to work. Poor people like me have to work day and night. Can you imagine a millionaire saying that? Every successful person is somebody who has worked hard to achieve what they had to achieve, not what they wish to. They believed they wanted to do that. Wish and want are two different things. There's a lot of things that these stories might teach you. There's a lot of things that a person can learn from books, from people, from communication, from a session like this. But you must be willing to learn from wherever and whoever you need to. Want and need are two separate things. People are so focused on what they want to do that they ignore what they need to. A lot of people would spend time, okay, I want this car, I want this house, I want this business, but they're not willing to put in the work they need to put in to achieve what they want to have. A lot of people will not do that. And that's why there's very few people that we define, the society defines as successful, because these people did what they needed to do at the right point in time. You need to learn, and then you need to remove the L. And that's when you start to earn. The question is, what do you want to earn? You want to earn money, or you want to earn respect? The world is a small place, and there's a lot of people who want a lot of things. Will you be the one who will take something out of the world, or will you be the one who gets something taken away from them? These are some questions I ask myself till date. For a small flashback from my story, I started off as a person who could not speak in front of two people. I was the same person 5 years back. I'm the same person now. I could not speak in front of two people, but I put in time and energy in the right places. I put in time and energy in places where I needed to. And I've talked to an audience of at least more than 2 to 6,000 people without flinching twice. Not because I was too adamant or to prove everybody wrong who said things about me. It was because I wanted to reach my full potential. And that's where finding yourself comes into play. There are some skills that you need to acquire. Let's just say a lot of you will have a lot of excuses. I'm not confident. I do not speak the language which people understand. I do not know what to do. I do not know this. I do not know that. Uh, Perhaps I'm not the most best looking guy. These are some common excuses that we give ourselves. I do not have a certain set of skills to do what I have to. And these excuses are very prominent in millennials. People who come from my age group, your age group, everywhere. People do not want to put their time into things that make them feel uncomfortable. Something that as counseling while counseling people, that I always said was, never follow your passion. Before you call me crazy, hear me out. When you follow your passion, you do something you feel you're good at, no doubt about it. But you will never be successful doing what you do if it's your passion. Simply because you know how to do it and you feel comfortable doing it. Guess what that comfort is? That's your comfort zone. So just your passion won't work. There is something that you need to add on to it. You need to add something with your passion, and that thing is curiosity. If you are curious about what you do, let's just say that you love to dance. It's your passion. You're very passionate about dancing, but you are not curious about what new or what you can innovate in that particular field of work. Then you're a lost cause. You'll go nowhere. And trust me, it does not make me happy saying this, but that's the truth. Following your passion without a cause, without a sense of curiosity, intrigue, is pointless. So you need to be curious about where you're going. You need to be happy about where you're going. So it's not just the passion, it's also the curiosity that you need to add on to it. So when you add curiosity in the frame, you are bound to succeed. You will succeed no matter what, because you're curious about finding out what life has to offer next. There is a lot of things that work this way. And there's a lot of things about this that I can say. But it all comes down to what you believe in. You need to find out what works for you the best. Life will put you in scenarios where you will have to face uncomfortable situations. Uncomfortable situations where you do not know how or what to do. You have no clue. But the person who is willing to succeed will accept it gracefully and push through. Because if problems are a wall, you need to break through them. Because a wise man once said that you should not strive for not having any problems in your life. If you have no problems in your life, how will you grow? Let's just say you keep repeating the same set of exercises every day with the same weights. They become easier over time. They become easier to attempt over time. Same thing goes with situations, right? If you face the same situation over and over again, you become used to it. You become immune to that situation. But if you keep increasing the amount of discomfort, you become somebody who is growing. Let's just say if any of you go to the gym, let's just say you work out. Do you increase your reps if you want to grow, right? You increase your weights that you're lifting so your muscles can grow. And that is uncomfortable. If any of you work out knows how uncomfortable it is to have soreness the very next day and how difficult it is to get out of your bed just to start working out again. Same thing is with life. You face failure at every end. The road to success was never straight and it never will be. And it all starts at finding yourself. It all comes down to who you are or who you believe you are. Life, when allows you to face an uncomfortable scenario, accept it, embrace it, and don't wish that problems go away. Wish for better problems in life. Don't wish for, I wish I did not have this problem. Wish for better problems. For example, I'm a businessman. So is Bill Gates. I have money problems. So does he. The funny thing is, his money problems are better than mine. For me, it is worrying about how to make things happen. For him, it's to worry about where should I invest my money. Can you imagine that? Even the top most successful person so far cannot say he does not have any problems because you do not solve your problems and end them, you just upgrade them to better ones. So let's just say you scored a 5 CGPA. Problem solved, you're passing. But guess what? A better problem is how to maintain that. A better problem is how to maintain that score throughout. And that's where the small things come into play. So there are a lot of small things that we can work on. There are lot of small things that we can develop because let's say 5 most important things. I wanted to spam 5 most important things in the comment section. 5 most important things that are skills that you need to be successful. Spam them in the comments. Let's just say the 5 most important things are communication, leadership, willpower, confidence, and resilience. You know the fun part? If you weren't born with them, guess what? You don't have to worry because these are all learned skills. Confidence can be taught, resilience can be developed. That's why we talk about personality development. Personality is something that changes over time. Personality is something that keeps changing. So you can work upon it, you can change it, you can develop yourself further. If you allow yourself to work upon things that are important, you can develop these skills and become a person you never thought you could be. Just like I said, I was somebody who could not talk in front of two people. I have attended multiple crowds. Communication is something that was taught. If I did not spend time learning communication, I would not be here talking to you guys right now. It's all about putting the time at the right places at the right time. How many of you would be willing to work upon themselves after listening to this? How many of you would be willing to take out that 1 hour of self work for themselves, where they spend time to keep themselves happy? Because money does not lead to happiness, but happiness just does lead to money. If you are happy and satisfied doing what you do, and you are prepared to work on it for the rest of your life, money becomes a byproduct. Success becomes a byproduct. Respect becomes a byproduct. All these things, they come together. They are byproduct to your hard work. So in this session, there is something that I want to talk about. A wise man once said, if you're not willing to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, you'll never be successful. I'll repeat myself. If you're not willing to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, you'll never be successful. If you're not willing to put those late nights, a lot of time and effort, struggle, pain, tears, blood, sweat, you'll never succeed. Because even if you do, you'll never be satisfied with what you achieved because you did not work hard for it. The people who work hard for what they want will always be satisfied. Because success, when achieved through hard work, tastes sweet. And that's what keeps you going. I hope this session gives you some insights. I hope this session gives you a lot of tips. And that would be me for now. Rajesh sir, please.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for spending your valuable time to motivate our students. So it was a great time
Thank you so
to
much.
listen to you. So you told many of the things like how to utilize time wisely and how to know yourself to do the best thing what you need, what an individual need to do. Okay. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.